Hey everybody. So before I get ahead of myself here, we're in phase 2 of customizing the dash for the 67 Chevelle. My name's Randy Wittes. This is my shop. Ready, set, go. Yeah. No. Whoopsie. Gonna hurt. So anyhow, here we are. Left off, we made a whole new top dash, lowered it 2 inches, blah blah blah, all that's in the video. So now I've decided, instead of having the original gauges that were in it, which you couldn't see very well anyway, I put a panel in here that brought it from this angle up to this angle. My intentions are, and I've spent 3 hours making this little panel right here, as you can see. And anyhow, what I'm doing is, I don't know if you can see the little pencil marks in there, the circles. Well, I can, hopefully you can. Those were my gauges are going. Gonna have water, oil, fuel on this side, and they go, that's the wrong way. Hard to hold the camera, do this, but hey, we'll make it through it, right? Anyway, I'm not gonna be able to hold it perfectly straight, but you're gonna get the idea of what I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing. So my 3 gauges will be in that panel that will be removable. So if I need to service it, I'm gonna have to take that off, obviously. But I can service all 3 gauges that way, versus the old style is taking this whole steering column down, the whole dash down to get to it. Then on this side, I will make another panel similar to this one, but it's bigger because the opening tapers, and it will house another tach, a speedometer, and that's it, because that's all that will fit in it. Because they're going to be bigger. I think they're 3 3/8 or something, I don't know. I do want to keep my radio in here. I'd like to keep this bezel for the radio, and I'm thinking of tilting it forward like so, and yeah, that will stick out a little bit, but I don't mind that because the bottom will be straight in a straight line. So this, which used to be the heater control, will be filled in, and maybe my alternator and a air fuel mixture gauge. Don't know yet. So, and then you know the console comes all down through here. So that's where we are. I'm going to drop this all down again, take the dash out, put it over there on the bench, so then I can work a little easier for a change, other than trying to work inside that car. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tear it out and I'll be back. Hey everybody, back. Got that all out. Yep. So it's over here, and I messed with my little trim piece a little bit. Had to grind this, square things up, get the distance a little better. You know, it's just kind of sitting in there for the moment. Oh, and yeah, I had to remove this whole panel again. Just didn't like it. Well, once I got out of the car, and this is why you kind of need to do things out of the car to a point, is this edge went up like that to there. So I had to cut it all loose, measure it, and this has got a arc to it a little bit. Very long, sloping one. So anyhow, measured. Think I got that where I want it. I'll probably have to throw it back in. Make sure everything's good here, which I think that'll be fine. I mean, the dash will just pull down anyway, so when I bolt it up. So now, right now we're moving to, oh, and I welded up these, there was splits here that go all the way up here, remember? So I welded those up, polished those out the moment. Yeah, I'll be welding that up, and I'll weld this whole panel in, but I'm just not ready to do it yet. So, and I got boogers to fix. But hey, that's what body filler's for, right? Maybe. Okay, so I'm working on this panel, and I don't want just a, set you right over here. I think you can see. I don't want just a 90 degree. I want a nice rounded edge to it. Stick this up in here. Maybe you'll see. So, okay, so if I just did that, it'd be a straight edge. And yeah, it'd have a little round to it because of welding, and I just don't want that, and it'll look ugly. So I'm going to cut this piece out on here. I'm going to, this is why you keep every piece of scrap metal you have. I'm going to add a little bit to this end, so I can then put this radius on it right here, and let me show you how I do that. Hey, okay, back, made my little radius thingy. See if I can get it out of there, show you. Anyway, made the little radius. We're going to line it. I already trimmed this some, which I did that by putting it up in here, tracing a line, cutting some off. Hopefully that's where I want it to be. And let's face it, that's where it's going to be. So we're just going to attempt to hold this and tack it. Because, you know, things never cooperate. Always wear your safety glasses. And there's no way to clamp it, nothing. Just to hold it. And this is when working by yourself is a pain. Wow. And to turn the welder on. Man, I hate it when you do that. I'm gonna have a nice crease in my arm too when I'm done. Voila! A booger. That's all I wanted. It's only on number 2. Align this one. A real big booger. But, okay, I gotta obviously bend that over. I'll take care of that problem. But you see my radius. We'll weld that up, grind it, and we'll have a nice little radius right there. Good to go. I'm going to do something else as well, and I talked about that while I was in the car with the radio part and tilting it up this direction. So I'm not going to weld that down there. Well, I might, but anyway, you get the idea. We got our little radius. Bead welder. Bead welder, yeah. Bead roller. Cool little tool. See ya in a minute. Alrighty, well, been busy. So, gonna give you a little update on the dash. And I'll shut the fans off real quick. So I was debating as far as this right here, to move it forward, move it a little bit up, but that's factory position. This is basically how the dash is going to sit. These are pretty well vertical. So we get an idea of what it's going to look like. That's one panel, which actually belongs over here, but I wanted to, you know, get a comparison. I'm gonna probably build another panel over here. Emblem goes on there, Malibu SS, and no, it's not an SS. I'm gonna use the Malibu, and it says SS, the circle in red, off a 65 Malibu, because I like it. And that's where we are. So I got some welding to do, made my little curve, did some little messing up down in there, but that's all right. What the welder's for. So I gotta weld all this up, smooth it all out, and make sure it fits back inside there. So, see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. 3 hours later, did a lot of welding, as you can see. Ground these down. Nice little radius on there. Got this all welded and been doing some grinding. Got some little pits. You know, these pits that I get worried about and want to just fill, you know, come back and weld them up, and that's dandy. And I could. You know, that's why they make body filler. But anyway, I may fix them, may not fix them. that's where we are for the moment. We're plugging right along. Kind of the way it looks for the moment. And well, I had the tape off here, but decided to leave that the way it is. It's going to be sitting about like so, and with that bezel in there, looks pretty good. I got half my lights off in here, but we'll see you in a minute. Hey everybody, we're back again. So working on the dash, as you can see. I'm plugging this hole. Well, I had 4 holes here, plugged them up. Let me show you. Plug them up. Now I'm getting ready to plug up this hole. This is just a straight, there's no flange like this or this. So we're gonna work on this here. And what I've been doing is, I don't know if you can see the little bit of arch that's in that piece of sheet metal. There you go. We have an arch here, a round, a curve, whatever. But it's kind of flattened over here. Well, we don't want that. We're gonna fill this in too. And this is a little bit of an arch, but everything gets kind of flattened out and messed up because of the holes in it. So we're going to follow this arch all the way through, hopefully. So I've been making this panel and trying to get that arch right there, and I think we've got it. And how I've been doing that is, come on over here. We're slowly learning on these tools, and it's trial and error. So we've got a pitch on that bottom die. I tried a flatter one. It was getting nowhere. I did learn something, which is pretty cool. And I'm gonna try to hold the camera, and you need to run your piece of sheet metal in very straight. And if you pull it out, keep it very straight. If you tilt it up or down, what happens is the metal will go like that or go like that. So when you're trying to, like in this case, make a little arch, also a little, if you want your arch to go this way, a little down pressure, and just a little, not much, helps to make your arch. The other thing I've just learned, could be completely wrong, but it helped me make this panel. So go to there, don't go all the way to the end, and then go to there. Don't pull it out, don't run it all the way through, just keep going back and forth. In this case, putting pressure going this way a little bit, so then it lets the dies do their thing. And as well, I've got a little down pressure out here, and then once I get to this side and I'm holding both sides, I'm putting a little bit of down pressure on the panel. Hope I didn't mess it up. So just learn that on this little panel here. Got to be patient, let the machine do its thing, help it along a little bit, I guess, because of the down pressure. Nobody's taught me anything as far as an English wheel, and there are videos out there to learn stuff. I'm impatient and like to learn on my own, I guess, and torture myself. So we are going to take my little blue stuff, bluing ink, spray this panel put it on the back side of the dash, trace this out, and get it cut out to fit, and we'll see in a minute. So all I did with the bluing dye is a very light mist is all you need, and this stuff dries really quick. I mean, we're really getting uptown, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a little light, for me, just a little light. And see how dark that got? I mean, that's the second coat. Don't really need it all that on there. But we'll let that dry. It only takes, you know, 2-3 minutes, to be honest with you. And then let me show you what else I invested in. And you know, I've been using markers and pencils and orange markers and a scribe. See, I don't know if you can you see that? Can you see? Well, I can't see. There. Can you see how fine that is? I mean, it's pretty sharp. So what that does, and I think we all know if you're watching this, it gives you a nice, fine little scratch. But that allows me to get extremely close to this edge. And I'm going to make a little line. You see that little line? See how close to that edge I am? Well, can you see it? Well, maybe you can, but anyway. See that? Couldn't even see it. So that makes things a lot easier versus using a marker. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. A marker is going to give me 1/8 of an inch line here. And yeah, it can kind of work, but it doesn't get right next to this edge. And that's what I really need. So when I cut this out, and I grind this, cut it out, and grind it up to that edge, this thing's going to pretty much fit. I'll have to do a little touch up, but not much. So when I did these little plugs for here, that's what I did. Use my ink, use my scribe, and I did round them out a little bit more, the holes that were in here, just to make it more of a hole. And you can't even see, well, you can see a little bit maybe, but got good penetration on it. But there's a little bit of an edge, but I'll scuff these off with the grinder, and I mean, you won't even know those were there. So that allowed me to get those perfect as far as size goes, and to weld them up makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to scribe this panel. I'm gonna have to cut it down a little bit, but I'm gonna find the sweet spot as far as the arch is here. And see, when it gets to here, you see my arch changes. It gets to there, then it fits the whole thing. So, and then, well, on this side, I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, we have a gap underneath there. Well, that's because this was stamped into the dash and it flattened it out. But we're gonna, like I said, follow this arch all the way across as best we can. So we're going to, once we cut this out, tap this up to meet this, not meet that. And I may have to cut this out before I do that. So we'll see in a minute. Okay, well, I've got it clamped. Had to straighten this edge out a little bit. Had a little dip in it. I see that one does too, but we'll straighten that in a second. So let's do a little scribing. Yeah, I want it to scratch the metal pretty well, not just take the ink off, because when I'm going to cut it close and then I'm going to grind to the line. And you know, this isn't going to just, once you do this, automatically just fall into place. It's going to take a little fitment, and as you can see, I put an arrow right there, so I know which way to put my panel in, so I don't put it in upside down and then really fight with it. So that's it. We're going to start cutting on it. See you in a bit. I'm back. Guess I could have shown you what that looked like after I unramped it, but you get the idea of how that works very well. So I'll rough cut this and then I'll grind the rest of it. So again, see you in a bit. Okay, I hate these cameras. Anyhow, so I ground, and as you can see, what happens when you grind, it heats up that ink and it burns it off. So having to scribe into the metal versus like a marker or something like that, you might be able to still see it a little bit right there. So this is the first test fit. Wish me luck. And it does not fall right into place, which, you know, didn't expect it to. It's really close though. You know, that scribe that I showed you up here, I can bring that in a little, bring it closer in to the line. Well, I mean, it's holding there by itself. It's so close. Well, hold on. No. Okay, well, I'm gonna do a little bit more grinding, get it all fitting, and I'll be back. Okay, back about 45 minutes later. Anyway, we got it to fit. Now, it's not fitting as tight as it was, and I'm gonna tell you why. What ended up happening, and I don't know why, I ended up with a bow like this. A bow this way and a bow this way. So when you start, see the bow this way, when you're using the English wheel, you're stretching metal. I probably could have just like bent it around the pipe and done it that way, and it probably would have been fine, but I wanted to try to get fancy and learn how to use my tools. So anyway, I didn't notice the bow in it this way until when I'm trying to fit it, and you can see the edge sticks up a little bit. Smooth, smooth, edge sticks up. Flat here, sticks up there. Anyway, so I thought, all right, ran into this before, I'll use my little shrinker. So that's what the little bites are. Well, when you do that, and it wasn't pulling the arch out either, but when you do that, now you're changing the shape of the metal. So that's why my little gaps got a little bit different. I had to come back and clean that up. I still have an arch. I had tried to even just bend it on the table, and when you start just trying to flatten this out, you kind of flatten that arch out. So we're gonna see how messed up this is right here and put a little straight edge across it. Well, you see it's high here, which then gives me a gap everywhere else. So I have to figure out, and you see how the rest of the dash is. I mean, it's relatively flat. Yeah, it has some gaps, 1/16 of an inch, and you're gonna have it when you have these holes punched in something. But I can't work with that high spot in that piece of sheet metal. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that out. So I'll be back. Okay, well, I wasn't reading the piece of metal correctly. I was getting that arch in it. Anyhow, so I was thinking shrinking because other stuff that I did and how the metal reacted, it worked perfectly. This, I was trying to shrink more, was getting worse, getting all out of shape, so I thought, okay, well, let's go the other direction. Hit it twice with the stretcher, flattened right out. So, as you can see, I think, like 1/16 of a gap. We're touching here, touching here, touching here. So that's acceptable. We're not up in here. It's being held in by magnets, by the way. So we're not completely flush up in there, because when I stretched it, it made it fit better. But anyhow, okay, now we're flush. So yeah, so it's touching there a little. Well, we're not flush there, but I'll flush it out as I tack it in. But there it is, our arch this way. Looking kind of good. Not so much there, but I'm gonna play with it a little bit more. Get it to fit where I'm happy with it. But just goes to show you, you live and learn, and I'm definitely learning. So, see you in a minute. Okay, we've got it fit pretty darn good. So, I'm gonna do a little welding. Put you back over there so I don't splatter it too much. And let's get busy. Not gonna wear my gloves because I need to be able to feel it. I'm gonna start off with the flushest part, work my way around. That's right there. Make sure your tips are clean, because it will cause you a bunch of problems. Arcs won't be good, gas won't flow well. And make sure your tip inside make sure that tip is tight. Because if you don't, it'll wiggle and it'll get off center and then cause you more problems. So, wish me luck. First weld is always the scariest because it always is. Never know if you're going to get a good tack or not. Okay, pretty hot. Not where I want it. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your fingers. That corner's not flush. Okay, well, I'm going to work this little tack weld because that's what I've seen him do. What happens, you do a weld and it draws up. So when you're hitting it with the dolly on the back, it stretches it back out, relieves some pressure, hopefully. Just causing me issues. Don't like it. Out of my way. Yeah, that was my hand. Like I said, sometimes you have to sacrifice. Trying to get this perfect. Easier said than done. Okay, well, I'm going to go over over here. Okay, well, you get the idea. I'm just going to keep working my way around. Need to go here and here. Shouldn't really have done that. I should have, but that's fine right there. But we're gonna get it. I'll be back. Okay, all welded in, ground down as best we can get it. This area wanted to suck in on me. Seems like, you know, when I did the hammering to stretch the weld, all it did was push it down in. So I quit doing that. This is good. It's all good. Or should I say good enough. And if we look, it's not perfect, but a little high spot right here, and we can work on that a little bit. That's not a big deal. Basically, that's a 1/16 of an inch of mud. Absolutely normal. The whole thing's going to probably have that. Well, I know it's going to have that. There's a dip right there. So, and the same thing over here. I mean, doesn't look bad, but it's ripply as heck. So, see you in a bit. We're back again after, yeah, we did all that. Made another new panel. Here's where that goes. And no, it's not centered because of the size that these needed to be and where they need to be located so that I can remove them without pulling down my steering wheel and pulling my whole dash out. When the steering wheel's here, and then I gotta have a big tack up here, so it's like it won't even be seen anyway, but I will still be able to get to it. Now, the other thing is we're getting ready to cut some holes. I don't know if you see my little scribe there. And I didn't use the bluing on it just because what happens when I start cutting and grinding, the bluing turns brown and goes away, so I have to make sure that the scribe is there in the metal anyway. So we're going to cut some holes. Oh, and yeah, I do need to trim. You see the black mark here. I need to trim that, so that's a little more square on here, and same thing with this up here. And when I do that, I'll grind through that edge and I'll have to weld it back up. But I want to see what my gauges do, and here are my gauges. That's one. That's the fuel gauge, and that's the speedo and odometer gauge, and this ring is chrome and it goes up to 160. So no, I won't be going 160. So let's get to cutting some holes and screwing this up. See you in a minute. Okay, well, remember when I said just before I cut this out, let's go mess this up? Well, I did. I don't know if you can see it. A little hole right there that I'm gonna have to weld up. Luckily, I got my little, you know, copper backing thing, and I can just a weld on there. But I think now you can get the idea where I'm going with this. Maybe I'll remove some tape. get the full effect. Boy, that's a one-use tape right there. That is some thin garbage. I'll have to put the green stuff on it. This one's a little snug. I mean, it's so snug that just that sticker makes it tight. That's okay. Not a biggie. So, let's put that in there again. Put that one in there, see? You see it? Well, I had another outline of another circle, and my eyes on this reflective stuff is a real pain in the butt. But anyhow, that's how that looks. And we'll look at it like this. See? I can't see. There. Now I can see. That's what that's going to look like. And then we'll have 3 more of those right here. So it's going to be, that's fuel, so it'll be, you know, oil water alternator. So I was going to do a tack right here, but as you can see, there's not enough room. And you know, I already made it bigger to accommodate what I have. Otherwise I'd have been way over here, and then I wouldn't have had enough room for these. I had to go with the 3 1/16, I think, or something like that gauge. But I think it's gonna look all right, especially if I can keep that silver motif thing going on. So see you in a bit. Hey everybody, remember that little boo-boo I did? Well, I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. Hopefully this works. I only had that on number 2. I would have liked it on number 3, but that's how that works. See? Makes it a lot easier. Now I'll just grind that out, clean that up. Probably should have done it from this way, then I would have had less work on the good side. Maybe. Anyway, we'll get her fixed up. See you in a minute. Okay, we got that all fixed. It was right there. There's little pins, pinholes, whatever. But it's good enough. I may have to round that arch out a little bit more, but that'll do it. And we'll have to finish this, and then cut holes in that, and you know, make her fit. So see you in a bit. Hey, so we are back. You can see I've done a lot of hole cutting, and not looking too bad. Got these mounted in, a couple of screws here, and it's worked out just like I hoped it would. I hate this thing, although it helps to get these holes cut out, but it just fights you the whole time. So, but I got it all done. Everything fits in the back. The hold downs fit on the back. They're nice and snug. And I'll show you the back. This was probably still going to get cut out. Doesn't have to, because, you know, everything does fit. Actually, this upper one does interfere a little bit once the gauge is in. I'm not going to show you. Once the gauge is in, it's really close to the top here, so you have to kind of pull the gauge out, put that on. But if I do it by just removing the panel, I won't have that problem. That's why we have the panels. So it's what we're looking like. See that? That's the bezel. So it's where we are for now. See you in a bit. Hey, we're back, and I'm going to give you a little show you what I did. So you know about this part with the gauges and stuff. Now we're moving over to this part. So this is my idea. My car's a Malibu, and in '64 they made a Malibu SS version. When they made my car, mine would say Super Sport. So no, I'm not trying to do a Super Sport clone. This is the only emblem that's going to be on the car, and it's going to be right here. And let me show you what that looks like real quick. And let me pull it up so you have an idea. There it is right there, see? That's pretty cool. So that's my idea. Since my car's a Malibu, we're just gonna sporten it up a little bit. So Malibu SS. And I think that's a perfect spot for it. So just bringing you a little up to date. It's coming along pretty well, and we'll see you in a bit. Everybody, back again. So got that panel made. What I'm going to, I centered it up as best I could. Saw that. Drilled a hole here so I can put in my squishy nuts. I know that's not the right term, but that's what I call it. So I'm just gonna drill that hole, put that in. And you're gonna watch. It's pretty exciting. So now we're gonna get my little deburrer, and I don't think I can do it from the back side, but I can use this one to do it from the front side. Oh, I can do it from the back side, so hold tight while I do that. That's this side over here. I can't get to there because I haven't cut it out yet, but handy dandy deburrer. Oh wow, because I happen to cut that out. The only reason it's there. But see, a little deburrer. If I tried to put a squishy nut on there, may not get a really good bite, so just for the heck of it, we're going to do that and gets rid of that. Put your tools back, otherwise then you lose them. And you end up with piles of tools everywhere, you see. So I don't follow my own rule, because you know you're going to use that in a minute anyway, so that's why we don't do that. Man, welding splatter. Or no, that's paint. That old lacquer paint on here, and it just basically melts when you try to take it off. So, well, see, now we've got burrs on this side. Let's use this new tool. See everybody using these, so I thought, well, hey, why not? Boy, that's a big air leak. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, put our squishy nut in. Don't squish too hard. And unscrew it when you're done. Okay, squish too hard. Yeah, that's not even centered in there. You get this little ring around the top because you've squished it, but you can also distort the thread, and if you kind of see down in there, we're not completely lined up. So I probably squished it too hard. Didn't think I did. But anyway, let's get a little screw. Put a little gibs on there. Believe it or not, it helps. And your gibs supposedly won't mess up any paint. Wow. Don't know my own strength, apparently. Gotta make sure you get them in there straight. No, that seems okay. And I don't care that that's not flush, because if you remember, we put a bend on these, put a flange on it, so it actually sticks up off of the panel and it does not interfere with it. Put this back on. Man, magnets are just pain in the butt. See if this ends up where I want it. Hope you can hear me, because I'm not using a mic today, just depending on the old camera. Yeah, that didn't end up where I wanted it. Of course. You know, sometimes mistakes happen for a reason and comes out for the better. As you see, I've got a little gap between my line. So let's measure. I need roughly 1/2 inch. Okay, there's 1/2 inch. This I already know, because you can see it's kind of like a J. Would be trimming that, so be trimming that about 1/8 of an inch-ish down there. So, okay, well, it didn't turn out terrible. Now, this is just free floating. I'm gonna leave it that way because, well, measuring that, I went 3/8 of an inch. We're good there. Not good there. It's okay. We'll trim that down. This has got a little wooble in it. You can see right here. So we'll trim that down. That's okay. Our gap's a little wide, and I don't like it. This one is tighter, better. So, what I've decided I'm gonna do is and then I'm gonna have to decide where I want to do this, and I'm gonna cut it, move it over so I've got a better gap. If I mess it up, I just have to make a new one, and hopefully I get that hole. Well, I can weld that hole up, I don't care if it doesn't line up where I want it. So let me figure out where I'm gonna cut it and be right back. We're back. I'm gonna cut this with this thing that I hate because I don't want the gap any wider than it needs to be. So we're gonna give it a shot. We got that started, and right now I'm going to, just my clamps move all over the place, always. Bear with me here. I'm trying to make it short. So, here we go. You're gonna fake this a little bit. Okay. Put that to the side. Cut this some more. Can't see at all. Crap. My eyes do not see reflective things very well, so gotta put a black mark on it. Here we go. Face shield. Wear the short again. clamp was in the way, made it more fun, like they always do. Okay. So, that's that. Now, the really fun part, welding it back together, and I don't know what my gap is yet. Okay, phone, stay up there. So, what I'm doing, my screw back in. Wow. That's probably going to be a really big gap. Oh. So, yeah. Well, let's get out the tape measure. Hard to measure a curve, and you can see that one's not perfectly straight. What is that? Quarter, kind of. More magnets. Magnets are great until they're not. They're a pain in the butt. They don't do what you want. Okay, we have a line here. Try to stay with. Not a quarter. What is it? Is it? Okay. I hate these tape measures. Okay, no, that's half right there. So, nope, not a quarter. And that's a quarter. So, what do we do? I don't want to make the gap any bigger. I can add to this. So, really not a big deal, other than it messes up, you know, appearances. But hey, gotta give a little to get a little. And no, I can't do that, because then this won't line up right here. So, give a little to get a little. Widens my gap. So let's go in the middle and go quarter there. That's a quarter there. Okay, so back over here, we can make a match. That'd be great. It's a quarter, that's nuts, a little more. Okay, a little more. Okay, where's my thingy? There it is. Under the face shield. Okay, I'm gonna make sure all this is straightish. It's not, by a long shot. Okay, that doesn't make any sense now. How does that happen? Fun stuff. Okay, a lot of measuring, a lot of, you know. I'm sure it'll mess up, but after I weld it, that's just the way it does. That's gotta get trimmed. That'll get trimmed. But what's my worst case? Those magnets are fine. It's over. It's over. It's a big gap right there. Okay, I'm gonna figure it out and I'll be back. Okay, I'm gonna try it this way. This way being tacking a piece of sheet metal on top. Hold it in place. Why I'm closing my eyes. Okay, well, that's a tack. Did it move? Probably. Sure it did. Yeah. Why wouldn't it? Look at that. Okay, well, we got to cut that loose, move it back. So, you're back. Okay, got it cut apart, got it lined up. Now we're going to try this. The ground. I have a piece of copper on the back, so I can hopefully fill that gap. We shall see. Well, we got a tack. Keep from knocking it on the floor. And it just pops right off. And then we have a pretty little fill-in right there. If you can see it. See it? I'm sure you're saying, well, Randy, why don't you just cut a strip of metal and weld it in there? Because I didn't want to. Do another. Okay, so you get the idea. Again, I don't know if this is going to come out the way that I want, but we're going to keep working at it, and we'll get back. Okay, we've got our panel welded back up. Looks okay. A little tighter here. I still have to do a little trimming and stuff. Got the new emblem in. that's basically how that's gonna be. So I'm gonna come back, like I said, trim my edges, get things where I want them, and then figure out if I'm either gonna cut these little nibs off back here and just glue that on when it comes time, or if I'm going to bolt it all the way through. I don't know if those are going to be long enough, to be honest with you. I don't think they are. Anyway, I guess we'll deal with that when the time comes. So see you in a minute. Welcome back to the party. Oh boy. Anyway, so you can see, drilled the hole, putting the squishy nut in, and trying not to crush it too much, but you know, I can't help myself. Because I don't want it to, that's fine. I don't want it to turn, but you know, it is just these, so it's not like I'm putting 90 pounds of torque on them or anything. Just a little oil. Does help. Now all I've done is to mount this one in place. I'm sure it moved out of where I had it measured from, because that's what it does. Just look. Yeah, about a 30-second. Depends on how you hold the tape measure, you know what I mean? Anyway. So that's in place. And I was just, this is the old Malibu that was on the Malibu. And I ground those studs off. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do with the new one, because when I had this off, I put it flush up against here to have the little studs stick through. Anyway, they're not long enough. So, move on to the next thing. Little dent right there, across there. You know, when it's in all metal, it doesn't look very bad. If you were to put shiny paint on there, it would just be ripply as heck. So that's why it will get some body filler here and there and help fill things in, make things straight-ish. See, like, you know, there's little pits in there. That'll get taken care of. This is sunk in a little bit, which I can go on the back side with the hammer and probably get that up. And do the same thing with that. Not sure what did that. I don't know what wheel it was on the bead roller. But anyway, it's there. And it could have been when I was beating the flange over to make the pinch flange. So there's that. What's next? All right, I'm going to take my little black marker and I want to measure where I want. I gotta trim all of these. So that's a 1/2 inch. That's not. So, and I know I've done this one before. So you take your black marker and mark how much you think you're going to trim off. Boy, that tip isn't very sharp, is it? So, alright. Okay, so that's one there. Now we see how bad that one is. We're going for 1/2 inch right there. So we gotta take 1/16 of an inch off. Alright, oh, just freehand. Just have to do it little by little. And this has got a little swoop in it. But right there's 1/2 inch. So we just be careful and taper it out to there, so we know where to stop. And what we're going to end up doing, because we're going to go through the sheet metal, we're end up splitting this. We're going to have to weld this edge up, grind it back down again. So up here, I know I want 1/4 of an inch-ish gap. Trying to make everything look the same. So that right is about 1/8 of an inch off. Whoops. So man, I cannot see. All these reflections back in my face. See it, I don't know if you can see it. It comes up and then goes back downish and back up. A lot off it. A lot. Moving on down. This has actually got a curve to it slightly, and when I made this panel, intention was to have that slight curve in it so it would follow the same distance all the way across. That's okay. It's 1/4 of an inch based on I don't know what. So that's no. Is that what is that? No, it's 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Yeah. That's yeah. So what's this side? That's 1/4. That's 3/16-ish. Anyway, not quite 1/4. Well, no, if we do it that way, then it's 3/8. Oh, just again, depends on how you hold your tape measure. I need to add here. So rather that be a little tighter. Okay. Got a little work to do. Take this back off. Where's the tool? When you're clamping panels and you're trying to keep them straight, be careful so you don't crush them, put more dents in it than what you want. Okay, I'm going to grind this edge. Okay, so I went through, you can see it. So now I've got to weld that up. Fun stuff. Okay. I'm gonna put my gloves on for two reasons. Keep my sweaty hands off of the metal, and that's hot. So now that I've welded that, and I put my welder down on 2, so it's not real hot, so it won't just melt that to nothing. And grind it back down. Different helmet. Don't have that one on grinding mode. See how pretty that looks? And we gotta add to this side. Wrong helmet. Okay, it's not acting right anymore. Something's in there. There we go. Messing it up. Grinder mode. Let's see what that looks like. Chickenish, but hey, it'll get it done. Alrighty, so we made our panels, cut them. Now, like I said, it's going to cut holes for the emblem right here. So I made this difficult. I laid it out on this panel, which this means absolutely nothing. I took a piece of paper and went by the holes that were here. As you can see, I put a hole in the ones that I have the holes in up here. I took my Malibu, put it on the board. I tapped it down, and voila. There's my holes that I need to drill for this right here. Make that straight. And my little screws. And, you know, everything moves, everything gets relocated. Taking multiple measurements and, you know. But this is the best way that I figured I could make this happen. So hopefully it works and it's not too crooked. So, and on this it's not that critical because, like I said, I'm gonna make these holes bigger from the back side, and I got some new hole cutting bits. I'll use them on here. But I've got that set up to where now I take my little emblem, put her up there in them holes, and stand back and go, huh, Does it look all right? Does it look that way too far? That way, that way? This paper is the same width as that. And because of it being writing, it can throw things off, make it look goofy if you're not careful. And of course, this isn't sitting flush, so that's another thing that can throw it off, make it look strange. It looks lower because, well, if you just look at the paper, see? Just look at the paper. Now it looks fine. Okay. And if we just look at the paper, well, it would go out here, but yeah, I centered it in the center of that. You see the center line? I actually used that, lined it up in these holes, and then put little marks where that center mark was, and then centered off of here, because this is 10 inches, so that was pretty easy to do. But I'm gonna double check it, because it's easier to measure than to fix something you messed up on. Okay, well, this was 7/8, which it's still 7/8, and it shouldn't move. Going by measuring it from end to end, it was 10 1/8. See, now it may have moved when I hit it with a hammer. See the 5 and that mark? Which would be 5 1/16. It's kind of hard to eye it, like so. So let's do this. I don't know, what am I doing? Go 5 1/16, straight up and down with that. You can't see it. But it's about a 32nd maybe that it moved. So we can take care of any of that by obviously not making these holes even in this panel this size. Make them a little bit bigger so they can be moved just a tad if you want to, but I don't think that it's going to matter, because basically, unless it's really off, looking at it with your naked eye, some people can see that it's off. So, you know, we're talking, like I said, 1/16 of an inch. Okay, let's drill something. Probably should get a punch. So I'm gonna do that and be right back. Okay, drilled my holes, center punched them. Center punch was useless. Anyhow, we got the holes drilled. Voila, new little hole saws. So now I'm going to figure out which one that I need based on oh wow, look at that. They're push-ons. Well, that's putting a little damper in my plan. Okay. I thought these were screw-ons from the back, like mine were on my quarter panels. Not that I can't put a screw-on on it. So anyhow, I'm going to, well, what I was going to do is I was going to get the nut, I was going to get the socket that I need to put the nut on with, and then pick the appropriate hole saw, which I'm sure this one will be fine. Actually, this one, let's go with this one. Not this one, but this one. Oh my God. Well, that just, no, there it is. I'm gonna say, it just fell on the floor to be lost into the abyss. But let's go with this one. It's just extra bigger holes to, you know. Big drill. Yeah, these were, they still wobble. Oh, that's probably because of the chuck. And look at that, can you see that? See the wobble? And it's supposed to be not doing that. And I see it here. That's better. Okay. See what happens. Cut. In a hurry. And they want you to use a little liquid on it. big hole. Try the next one. Well, you get the idea, so you don't need to watch. See you in a minute. Okay, everybody. There it is. Just sitting there. Tightening up the screws. You saw the big holes I cut. Actually, the hole saws worked very nice, to be honest with you. They weren't wobbly, so it cut a bigger hole than what you really wanted. Once I put the bit up on this little shelf right here, I think that kind of centers everything. So, worked out nice. Got those off, you know, Amazon. So, there it is. I'm not going to measure anything. You know what I mean? I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to look at it. And I cut the holes that it sits in. As you can see, there's a little bit of movement that I can do some adjusting with. Very little. But that's it. I start getting the tape measure out, then I'll start seeing things I don't want to see. Even these lines across here make me, I'm gonna sand that off, so I don't have that anymore. So, I said, once you do something, then you start looking too hard. So if you just look at it and go, oh, that's nice. Centered. Oh, those are nice. They look pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, if you start getting down here, hey, you know what I mean. So anyhow, there's that. Got to move on to the next part. I'm not sure what that is right now. Other than ordering some a radio and make that thing fit. The reason I say that because the back here has been messed up a little bit. I may have to weld a washer on the back just to give it strength or something, and this doesn't sit in there quite right. It needs to sit like that. So there we are. Looks cool. Gotta get rid of that blue off there, although the blue looks neat. Anyway, that's that for now. I'll keep you posted. Okay, I'm back several hours later. And I cut a hole in there. When all else fails, make your own little tube. I welded that little, well, down in there you see it. Welded that little, it was a washer that I had put a hole in that I could bolt this to, and I welded it to the back of this, put it down inside. I've now tacked it, and what I'm going to do is cut this off, grind it smooth, see if everything fits the way that I want it to. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. gonna be hot. Something I don't like already. Somehow it is not quite centered. Love it when things move on you when you're welding. What am I doing? Okay. Let me blow that out. I wanted to blow it out before I put my key in there. Come on. Come on. Okay. That is, well, see, I haven't completely, now here it's smooth, you can see I've just barely got a gap. Well, if I do any body filler or any buildup of paint, I'm going to be a little bit in trouble. So, locked in, it functions. Irritating right there. I'm going to say it's irritating. Well, not as bad as it looks, I guess. That's open, that's closed. A little bit not straight, but again, I mean, that's straight, that's centered, up and down, that's the way it is. Nothing I can do about it. Always just a little tiny something. Now as far as my hole being off, like I showed you before, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go around, weld it around here, grind it smooth. Won't even know that it's a problem. So, we got away on that one. Alright, you guys. Let me finish this up. Be back. Okay, everybody. Well, welded it up, as you can see. Got it ground out. And used mostly this to go through the hole. Now let's see if our part fits again. I certainly hope so. Boy, I'm glad I made that. Otherwise, I'd fight with it with pliers, and it was just a real pain. Now this is going in. I line up keyways. That last one just basically twist it back and forth, and it finally goes in. There it is. It is right up against it. Yep, now it's moving. Now we got a little room. Barely enough to get in. But, oh, it's in there. Now I know why they come it sunk bigger. You didn't have this problem. So, you guys, something to think about when you're converting. If I can manipulate that a little bit. Yep, I did. See, I didn't weld it to the back side. Glad I didn't. Now I just adjusted that. That probably got a 1/16 of an inch. I could probably get a little more because that's actually sunk in a tad. Probably hit that thing and break it. I'm not careful. Okay. What happened there? Now it's back in. So what did I do? Now it's out. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, fellas, guys and girls, that's not what you want to do. I can fix that, not a big deal. It's just a push on anyway. Alright, well, I'm gonna play around with that some more, but get the idea. So gotta take this out. Anyway, gotta take that out, fix that. See you in a bit. Okay, we're back. So, well, here it is. Club door. I moved that in too far. Probably going to regret that. Here's my striker, and if you can guess, that's a welding rod, and all I did was weld it on the back. And try to show you how well that works. So it'll be sitting like this. Voila! There you go. Good enough for my house. Good enough for yours. So that's it for now. See you in a bit. Hey everybody, back. So been doing lots of things since I saw you last. Got the dash in. Got to do some fixing over on that corner. For some reason when things go back in, they don't fit the same as they did before. So that's what we're looking at. There's my gauges. Radio's not there, but the bezel is. Yeah, that's Malibu SS over there. Steering wheel, column, obviously. And then big old 5-inch tack will sit right here on the column. Can you imagine that right there? So that's what it looks like. I do not have it attached here yet or up here, but we are fitting. Spent some time a minute ago getting this lip to fit nice and even the way that I wanted to. This came out nice. Little work there, not much. It might be called body filler, who knows. But we'll see, because I got a lot of work over here now for some reason. That lip doesn't fit at all. This used to be split between the two, but when it went back in, this is how it fit. This corner I didn't like. You can see it kind of goes up, kind of looks like a ski, and then down, and it didn't line up good here. Well, I broke this loose, and then everything kind of fell into place as far as this part's concerned, because it's, you know, attached down here. And so I went with that, tacked it back in place again, and this is where it left us here. So what I'm going to do is take this back out, probably cut along this line, take a wedge out right here, slide that forward, which will then push this out level. That's the plan anyway. So when I take that wedge out, we'll make up the difference for that wedge. So we shall see, but I'm gonna leave you at that because, you know, that's another day. And I've spent long enough on this video, so I got to get edited and get it out there for you guys to see. So we'll see you on the next video.